Hi everybody, so my name is Michelle Carvill. I'm a local businesswoman and author writing about sustainability and what businesses can do around sustainability. And I want to talk a little bit about greenwashing and some of the experience I've experienced when diving and delving a little bit further into asking some questions of this council about what really is going on with regards to this borough local plan. So coming out of COP26, we've all heard a lot more about the term greenwash. Effectively, greenwashing is when organisations and brands make green claims that really are versions of the truth rather than the actual truth. And in the book I wrote, I refer to greenwashing very simply as lying, because effectively it is lying. So of course, brands and organisations get away with greenwash relying on the fact that their audiences are largely busy people going about their everyday lives and therefore not really able or that concerned with investigating or challenging brands to substantiate those claims. However, when you do look beyond and behind the reality of most of those claims brands and organisations are making, and you dive deeper, and you importantly start to ask questions. Is that right? Is that true? How did they get to that data set? How did they get to that percentage? That's when you really start to uncover the truth that many of the claims just don't stand up. In fact, in research from the Competition and Markets Authority just this year, they found that 40 to 60% of green claims cannot be substantiated. And given that it's such a big problem, as of January 2022, they're bringing into enforcement a code, a new piece of legislation called the Green Claims Code, which already brands are being concerned and getting called out for without the enforcement, which will come in January. So that code calls for brands and organisations to provide transparency, clarity, and fully substantiate their claims. And that includes considering the claims and the responsibility of the full supply chain. So it's potentially a significant piece of legislation, and a piece of legislation that may be something that we can look into if indeed the borough plan is approved, and we can consider what the sustainability aspect of that plan really does look like. So unchallenged, greenwash, or in other words, lies, carry on without question. And this sense of being greenwashed and lied to, with all the lack of clarity and transparency that goes with it, is exactly what I have uncovered with exploring the borough local plan. I've raised a number of questions with a number of local councillors, and I've gone back to Theresa May again, because quite frankly, responses, in my view, aren't actually addressing the actual questions around potential greenwash. There is a distinct lack of transparency in their responses. So when organisations act responsibly and they clearly substantiate claims and are open and transparent, of course that builds trust and respect, and we can all align with that. However, I'm afraid trust and respect are woefully missing when it comes to our councillors and the borough local plan. Many vital components, such as transparency about how the data is being substantiated, the date of the data that they're using in their research and reviewing, all of that is missing. And there is a real sense of this project being completely railroaded, and a sense of kind of backhandedness with, what came out with Ross McWilliamson, being the lead for housing and having an alignment with Calla Homes, yet forgetting that when it came to the vote. I mean, how can that even be permissible? So there also seems to be now this, as Tina and Debbie alluded to, this real sense of urgency for them to get this through and reap the commercial rewards, regardless of cost to people and planet. You too, like me, may have heard that, you know, people have gone to Theresa May, and Theresa May fully supports the plan, and she's kind of washed her hands of the stance of any case against the plan. But I'm afraid that is not something that any responsible person appointed to her role can simply do. So personally, I'm clearly becoming quite a pain in the backside for the local council on this matter, because I do keep asking questions because they simply aren't answering those questions. And as someone concerned about what is happening not only with the planet but more locally with our community and the local climate plans, we have every right to ask, and so do you too. So my call to action is, you know, there's so many of you here, is we do need to make a bit of a ruckus, and we do need to be a bit of a pain in the backside, because they do have to respond to us. They can ignore a handful of emails, but it's very difficult to ignore every